Hey, this is David from baristalab, and
I'm Tony.
Tony from baristalab, and we're going to do a review on the new ROK Espresso maker. It's a manual espresso maker. I'm going to do a quick rundown on what you get when you buy this, and Tony's going to make a quick espresso. I think he's probably like the only person in the US who's made a bunch of espresso on this machine.
So I'm a complete noob when it comes to this kind of stuff,
yeah,
which I think is what this product is actually tailored for. But I still think you can pull a pretty impressive shot with it.
So we get a tin. A carrying tin or a storage tin, whatever you want to use it for. And this is the machine. It's super simple. It's basically just the pressure for the espresso. You have to get a kettle for the water and a grinder for the beans. So this is a very simple manual espresso maker. Here's the portafilter. It's a 49mm portafilter, a bit smaller than a normal one. Comes with plastic spouts, so you could split the shot if you'd like, or you can take this off and just have that dump straight into a cup. You also get a milk frother, which we're not going to use. We're just going to be looking at the espresso functionality, but this is a manual milk frother. Definitely doesn't froth milk as well as a steam machine or what you would get at a coffee shop, but kind of cool that they add that in there. And this is the coffee scooper / tamper that you would use to tamp your espresso, which we'll go over in a minute. And so we'll make a quick cup of coffee right now.
Okay, so we've got 18 grams of coffee already weighed out. We're going to set the Virtuoso to number 6. Make sure you're still on this. And as we're waiting for the water to boil, I've heard techniques about heating the portafilter. I've not tried this yet, where you just, without even putting any coffee into it, load it, pour the hot water, plunge it once, and just dump the water that comes out just to heat the portafilter. I don't think that's necessary. This is not a ridiculous machine. It's supposed to be simple. What I do like to do though is to preheat the cup, just for the sake of having it somewhat legitimate when you're making espresso.
People also soak this portafilter in hot water, and we haven't been doing that because I think 1 out of 1,000 people may do that, and then that person will probably stop doing it after they do it 2 times and get tired of it. So we're just going to use this like any normal person would. But people do soak this in hot water, flush this with hot water to get a stable temperature. In a commercial machine, the temperature would always be constant because this is all soaked in water and the portafilter is always connected and staying at that stable temperature. So that's one of the drawbacks of this machine, is that thermal stability is not going to be as good as a commercial machine, but it's a lot cheaper than one of those machines, so you're getting what you pay for. And if you like a simple espresso, or depending on how high your standards are, this may work for you. So kind of gauge yourself on that.
So this is actually not a very easy process to do. I tend to spill a lot of it all over the place. Don't mind. That's what it's there for. We have a little lockbox. Alright. And in there.
And in the past, we've also used an AeroPress funnel. You may recognize this if you own an AeroPress. This actually fits pretty well inside this portafilter.
It really does.
If you want to use, say, this reservoir, put it in the portafilter and then dump it directly, could make it a little easier. But some of you may not have this, but if you're a coffee fan, you probably have an AeroPress. If not, you should just get one because they're like 15 or 20 bucks and they're super simple to use. So, yeah.
Hey guys, our SD card ran out of memory, but we're back. So I just tamped this. The tamper that they use, or that they give you here, kind of doubles as a coffee scoop and a tamper. It's really lightweight. It's not going to feel like a normal tamper at all. But you can get it pretty level. Unfortunately, it's not evenly weighted, so it will dip and you can't really even use it as a guide to tell you how well you're doing. But with a machine like this, you're pretty much going to be eyeballing it aside from weighing out the amount of beans to use and kind of measuring how much water to use. So, cup is warmed up, we're going to load this. And
you may want to look into getting a 49mm tamper as well, like a copper one, metal one.
And with water just off the boil, I tend to go, because I've done this so many times, I feel like I've got it pretty down packed. I go to about a centimeter below the top of the spout. And you can actually see on this machine, if we can get a closer up shot later on, that we are, you can kind of actually see the line for some reason. It's left a little bit of a mark on it. So you want to load this first?
Yeah. So to get a proper extraction, what we actually do is we weigh all our shots out. It is extreme, you don't have to do this, but we're doing it for you just to get an idea. We can just go with that.
Alright. So total brewing time is roughly, what, 24, 25 seconds?
Between 20 and 30 seconds. I'm going to time him.
Okay.
The water hits the grounds as soon as he hits the top of this lever pulling up.
Yeah.
So I'll start timing then.
I actually really like doing this, to be honest with you.
That was about
Takes
10 seconds.
A lot longer to do.
So put that in there to catch any extra drips.
Yeah, and you're definitely going to want to plunge this again just to get rid of what's left inside.
Can you see this? Is it possible? No? Too blurry?
Yes.
We'll just tilt the camera down.
Can you adjust?
Look at all that cream on top. It's amazing. At least for a manual espresso maker.
You're gonna have to adjust those. Anyways, we'll take a close up of this later. But that was 20 seconds exactly. Do you get the rest of this?
Yeah, I got the rest of the water out of there.
Did you stop it?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Well, yeah, what I did was I literally had this here. I plunged it a couple extra times after pulling the shot. If you don't do that and you pull the portafilter out of the machine, you're gonna get coffeeed water all over the place and it's just gonna create a huge mess. So make sure you plunge it a couple more times afterwards and it's just an empty cup. And don't drink it. I mean, you could, it's not really that tasty. I tried it once. Not advisable. Very regrettable decision on my part. But here's the shot that we just pulled. Pretty full cup.
You can see that it was pulled a few minutes ago, but it has crema on it. It's pretty thin though, and pale.
Yeah.
And
I guess that's it. Thanks for watching, guys.
So what did you think of the whole process?
Honestly, it's pretty easy to learn, and because there are a lot of variables involved with doing this thing, but if you've got to set up a way to heat water really easily, a way to grind the beans consistently every single time, and you know pretty much exactly where to fill this thing up to, you can pull pretty consistent shots. I feel like I've been doing a pretty decent job of pulling shots the same way every time that I've done this. It's always been between 22 to 24 seconds. I pulled 20 seconds that time around. The strength and the taste of the shots, depending on the blend, if the actual coffee blend is consistent, it's pretty good. It hasn't really varied that much. So it takes some getting used to, but once you get used to it, you're done, and you can pull shots, 3 or 4 shots in the span of 10 or 15 minutes. I think it's great for entertaining, and it's a really cheap way to make espresso.
Alright, I'll give the like super anal coffee person's point of view.
Yeah, I'm the noob, remember that.
But if you're used to drinking really good espresso and going to really good coffee shops and coffee roasters like Intelligentsia, 4 Barrel in San Francisco, Handsome Coffee in Los Angeles. Hey guys, we have two 2-gigabyte flash cards that we're working off, and we just keep cutting dead in between. So we're back with a different camera. We'll get through this eventually. But just going back to the more, I guess, connoisseur espresso person, or someone who's really into drinking specialty coffee and is used to drinking specialty coffee and espresso from roasters like Intelligentsia and 4 Barrel and Ritual. This espresso machine, like at home, is definitely not going to give you that type of quality of espresso that you're used to, just because of how this is designed. It's the separate water. This is plastic. It's really hard to maintain that stable temperature for making espresso. The pressure is manual, so you're using your hands to make the pressure for espresso, so you're not able to like always keep it super consistent or at the right pressure. Also, main factor in making espresso is an even extraction of the cup of the espresso cake that's in here, inside the portafilter. And I think one of the main problems of this machine is, if you look at the bottom, can you zoom in on there? Do you see that dispersion screen? It's silicone, and it's not in there like very well. It doesn't have like a tight seal around here, so water is not flowing out of here evenly. If you ever look at a commercial espresso machine that's well maintained and cleaned, it looks like raindrops coming out of this dispersion screen. So it's hitting the puck of coffee like super evenly, and there's pressure distributed evenly around the coffee. With this one, I've found that coffee rushes out through the sides a lot faster than it does through these holes, and that creates an uneven extraction. So I think that plays like a huge part in the quality of espresso that you're getting out of this machine. But with that said, if you're not into making the best espressos in the world, you just want a simple, quick espresso, this machine is $200. It's a lot cheaper than other machines and other manual machines, so this may suit you. But if you are into like drinking the best coffee in the world, and it is your hobby and like one of your passions, this will probably be disappointing to you. So that's. Anything else you want to say?
I'm gonna go on record and say I think this thing is awesome, but there are problems with it. That's pretty much all I have to say. I think it's good for a $200 machine, for sure.
Thanks, guys.